Good afternoon, parents. Thank you for joining us for testing. We're here today to talk to you a little bit about being part of California Elementary next year.
Hola padres, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros esta tarde. Le queremos hablar un poco sobre las evaluaciones que van a tomar sus estudiantes.
The first thing that we'd like to talk about is your students practicing their letters and their sounds. And so there's a routine that goes with these letters. So it would be A, apple, and then they have a motion to go with that. And so if you can practice that with your students, it would be helpful for them to know this going into kindergarten. And there is a video attached to the end that will show you how to do it in both English and in Spanish.
Lo primero que le queremos hablar con ustedes son las letras y los sonidos que queremos que ustedes practiquen con su estudiante. En este video van a tener un video al último que los puede ayudar a cómo enseñarle a sus estudiantes esas letras y los sonidos que necesitan.
And in Spanish, it would be abeja, like una abeja está like stinging.
Como que una abeja le está picando. Esos son los sonidos en español para abeja.
And you also have a copy of those in the packet that you received when you came in. So you have them in English and Spanish. Only our dual immersion students need to practice both. If you're with Miss Bradshaw or Miss Bennett, you only need to practice them in English.
So, en su paquete que van a recibir hoy, le dimos una copia de estas letras con los sonidos. Si está en el programa de Dual Immersion, tiene que practicar los dos en español y en inglés. Si están con Miss Bradshaw y Miss Bennett, solamente los sonidos en inglés.
And just for your information, you also have a copy of what letters they learn first in English. So the ones that you want to work on first are M, A, and S. And in Spanish, the words that they learn first are the vowels, A, E, I, O, U.
So también tienen una copia de las letras que les vamos a enseñar primero en inglés. Las primeras son la M, A, I, S, y en español son las vocales. A, E, I, O, U.
And also in your packet, you'll notice that you have letter flashcards. And so you have them in English and in Spanish. Your job is to take the pair of scissors that we gave you, cut these into flashcards, and then you can play a game like memory, like capital A matches with small a, capital B matches with small b. So you can play these memory games with your students so they begin that letter recognition.
También en su paquete les damos este papel con las letras que usted con las tijeras que le demos los puede cortar y jugar juegos con su estudiante como juegos de memoria, que le dé la letra mayúscula con la minúscula. So, eso les ayudará mucho también a ellos practicar las letras.
Another big part about being in kindergarten is practicing their fine motor skills. And so teaching your students to use scissors where they put their thumb in and their pointer finger and begin to practice that motion. Also having them practicing holding the paper and moving the paper as they cut.
So, otra habilidad que es muy importante para los estudiantes nuevos es cómo usar las tijeras y que metan los dedos correctamente. También les puede dar unas hojas de papel donde ellos los pueden cortar y empezar a practicar cómo usar las tijeras.
Another way to practice their fine motor skills is to use Play-Doh so that they can squish it, they can roll it. At the end of the resources, there's a recipe. You can make your own Play-Doh at home, or you could go to the store and buy it by having your students rub it together using their fingers to really strengthen their hands.
Otra manera que puede usted ayudarle a sus estudiantes es que jueguen con plastilina. Es importante que sepan cómo la pueden apachurrar, cómo pueden hacer diferentes cosas con la plastilina. También le damos una receta donde usted puede hacer su propia plastilina en casa.
Some other things you can do at home is use a spray bottle. Having them spray with one finger helps them to strengthen that finger they hold the pencil with. If you have Lego blocks, having them put Legos together. Also taking a piece of paper and tearing it into different shapes really strengthens their hands. And then also crayons, which we also gave you in your bag so you can have them practice start coloring.
Otra manera que usted puede ayudar a los estudiantes con una botella de agua es usar con el dedo, que le va a dar fuerza, porque es que usan para los lápices. También jugar con Legos, también como romper un papel y colorear es muy importante también.
Another area that we would like you to work on over the summer with your students is the idea of drawing people. So ask your student to draw a person, and then you want to figure out which of these areas are they at. Is it just scribbles? Are they what we call amoeba people, meaning they just have a head and arms and legs and no body? or do they actually put the head, the body, the arms, and all of the details? That's where they should be as they're beginning to enter into kindergarten. So really working with them to help them to add that body. And the importance of drawing is actually connected directly to writing. So if our students can begin to draw more like a 5 or 6-year-old, their writing will catch up much faster.
Otra cosa que queremos que ustedes practiquen con sus estudiantes durante el verano es dibujar. Es muy importante que ellos dibujen, también para saber el nivel, si escriben, si los dibujan solamente con un círculo o ponen más detalles. Es muy importante porque esto le ayuda a escribir al estudiante.
Another thing we would like you to practice with them over the summer is their colors. Matching red, the color red, and rojo. So in your packet that you got, you will need to take your crayons and you will need to find the purple and color the square purple. So they will need to first color those squares the right color, and then you can play a game with them. Also, when you're driving outside, say things like, oh, look at the red stop sign. Look at the blue bird. Look at the green tree, and begin to point out those different colors to them that they see out in the world.
Otra cosa que es muy importante es los colores, que los sepan en español, en inglés. Le vamos a dar una hoja con los colores nuevos. Puede colorear el rojo, el morado, el negro, todos diferentes para que los estudiantes los aprendan. Mira, es muy importante cuando esté manejando, puede decirle, mira, ya está algo rojo. Pueden apuntar los colores que ellos ven.
The next thing is remembering that as they enter kindergarten, they need to be able to identify and count 1 to 20. So beginning to practice those, we gave you 2 sheets of numbers so that you could also play a game with them, have them count. When they're eating dinner, say things like, you need to eat 4 pieces of broccoli. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I need you to take 10 steps to get to the front door. 1, 2, 3, and have them count. The more that we have them count and play with numbers, the better they'll be once they get into kindergarten.
Algo que también tienen que saber los estudiantes es identificar los números y saberlos del 1 al 20. Pueden jugar juegos con ellos para que aprendan los números. También le vamos a dar en el paquete números, los puede cortar y jugar con ellos.
And then the last thing is to think about their shapes. And so we also included this list of shapes in English and Spanish for you to begin to practice those shapes. You can also cut these up and play a game with them, and also remembering to point these things out when you see them. You know, when, oh, look, that's a triangle. How do you say triangle in Spanish? Triángulo. And practicing both of the languages as well as identifying the shape.
También le vamos a dar en su paquete estas figuras, que es muy importante que ellos también las practiquen en español y en inglés, y cuando las mire también les digan, mira, ya son triángulo, un cuadro. Es muy importante que sepan las figuras.
We also provided you some glue, so you can actually have them draw those shapes, cut them out, and glue them onto a piece of paper. So you can also practice with those shapes, with creating things, making a house out of a square and a triangle.
También le dimos un glue para que pueda cortar figuras para ellos y hacer una casa, y para que sea más fácil para ellos aprender.
So those are all of the things we'd like you to practice before you enter kindergarten. Being in kindergarten is so exciting, but because of everything that we do with technology and dual immersion, we need all the help we can get from you to have our students be well prepared so that they can be successful. So if you can do these things over the summer to help them be well prepared, we would really appreciate it.
Eso es una de las cosas que necesitamos que ustedes trabajen con su estudiante para que ellos entren al kinder preparados, y es un tiempo muy emocionante para ellos.
Also on the video, on the resources that I'll give you, there are links that will show you how to do that Spanish review of the letters, the English review of the letters, how to make Play-Doh, in addition to some songs that they can begin to see at home, the way they should hold their pencil. And so there are many resources that we will give you as you leave today.
So, cuando se vayan hoy, le vamos a dar muchos recursos y enlaces que ustedes pueden ver videos y otras cosas que pueden usar en casa para su estudiante.
And then finally, in the last page are a list of supplies that would be helpful to send with your students. So you can see on here headphones, clipboards, crayons, different things that they will use for each student, and then also what they will use for the whole class.
So finalmente tenemos una lista de los materiales que van a estar en clase. y que por favor, se los pueden donar también.
Thank you so much for coming. We hope your student is finished assessing, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Go Bears!
Muchas gracias por estar aquí y Go Bears!